My name is Wayne Stofsky and I played baseball at Louisiana State University, better known of course as LSU. Now, playing baseball at a major Division I university is more than a full-time job. I mean, it takes drive, it takes discipline, and more than anything else, you have to be focused. Time management is very important. A typical week at LSU during the baseball season would consist of getting up and getting to the gym for morning workouts, probably 3 times a week. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'd have to be there at 5:30 in the morning, work out until about 7. Then you'd run back to your dorm or to your apartment to get showered, get some breakfast, and get to class by 8 or 9. You'd probably be in class until noon or 1 o'clock before running to catch a quick bite for lunch and have to be at the stadium for practice at about 2 o'clock. Now, usually from 2 to 3 were specialty workouts for different positions. And we do that from 2 to 3 before the whole team would come together to start the normal workout, and that would last till 5:30 or 6 o'clock. Then at 6 o'clock, again, it was running to get a quick bite to eat for dinner, and then off to nightly study hall. Now, study hall usually went from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. Some people might think this was a drag, but for me, it was the time I had to get my studies done. You have to really use your time wisely, and knowing that I was going to be in study hall every night from 8 to 10, that was the time I got all my homework and my studies done. Now, on game nights, it would be a little different because you'd have to get something to eat and probably be at the stadium by about 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. And we'd get there at 5 o'clock because you'd have pre-game batting practice and infield practice before the game started at 7 o'clock. Game would probably end about 10, and you wouldn't get home till probably 11 o'clock at night, and that's if it was a home game. Now, if we were on the road, chances are we might miss class that day or have to leave early to get on the road by 12 or 1 o'clock if we were playing in-state. A 2 or 3 hour bus ride to get to the other team's stadium by 5 o'clock, end at 10 or 11, and then a 2 or 3 hour bus ride back. Now remember, it all started again the next day, and that schoolwork didn't go away. Now in the Southeastern Conference, as in most major conferences, on the weekends, you'd have a 3-game series. We'd play on a Friday night, a Saturday night, and a Sunday afternoon, and we'd either take that bus trip or we'd hop on an airplane and go to places like Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, or Florida to play those 3-game series. And remember what I said, all the while that schoolwork didn't go away. Now, speaking of schoolwork, that's one of the biggest challenges for a student athlete making that jump from high school to the college level. It's not like being in high school. In high school, if you showed up to class every day, if you did all your work, if the teacher liked you, you're probably going to get decent grades. Well, in college, the teacher might not even know your name. They probably don't know who you are. You have a couple of hundred kids in some of those large classes, and it's all about the test. You have to get your studying done, you have to read, you have to memorize, and most of your grades are based on that midterm and that final exam. So it's very different than being in high school, and I wish someone would have told me that when I was in high school and I was being recruited at the next level. In baseball, it's pretty much year-round. You're either training or you're playing in your season most of the school year. Another thing I wish someone would have told me when I was in high school and being recruited is that all the athletes are a lot better at the college level than they are in high school. These athletes, they're all motivated. They're all disciplined. And like I said earlier, they're all focused and use that time management. Now, baseball, like school, is all about repetition. Good baseball players learn how to repeat actions over and over again, whether you're a pitcher or hitter. As a hitter, it's all about taking the bat from here to here and arriving on time and on plane and in rhythm time after time. Well, in the classroom, like I said before, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to go to class, you're going to run to the lunchroom, you're going to be on the practice field, you're going to go to study hall. So it's a lot of repetition, and we're doing this over and over every day, so you have to stay focused. If you lose focus, chances are you're probably going to fail. Now, one of the best parts about being a college baseball player and what I loved about LSU was the camaraderie of all the players. The stories that we used to tell in the dugout, being on the road, some of the best times of my life. And we were fortunate enough to have Skip Bertman as our coach at LSU, one of the greatest college baseball coaches ever, a Hall of Famer, one of the most knowledgeable baseball men I've ever been around, very smart, quick-witted. All the players would love just to sit in the dugout and listen to the stories and his actions. In fact, here we are almost 30 years later after college, and we still talk about the Skip-isms, Skip Bertman's story, and that camaraderie, the friendships that we formed over 25 years ago, we still have those today. Most of us have an LSU Baseball Facebook group. We tell stories, we remember the old times, and our coach is even in that group, and he talks about all the players and some of the fun things that we did back in the mid-'80s at LSU when LSU was really becoming a powerhouse in college baseball. I also love the competition, and what athlete doesn't love competition? If you're going to be a successful athlete, baseball player, football player, golf, it doesn't matter. You have to love competition. One of the other similarities which I think really helped me in college, moving into the business world, was when you're in college and you're playing baseball or any other sport, you learn to become a part of a team. You're rooting for one another. Business management, teaching, learning, differentiated teaching, pulling for one another. I use a lot of things today in the business world that I learned on the baseball field at LSU. Now, if you're considering being a baseball player in college, there are a couple of things that I would recommend that you think about. Number one, look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself as to how good you are. What is your ability? Because when you look in the mirror, you might not see the same thing that someone else sees, a college coach or a scout. Also, think about the education. What type of student are you? What school would fit you best? Location. Location is very important, and also playing time. You might be a student that wants to go play at Florida, Florida State, USC, or the University of Michigan, but maybe your talent level is more geared towards the University of West Florida, or Troy, or Northern Illinois. Be honest with yourself and pick a school that's best for you. Are you more interested in going to the large Division I university to be a part of that team, and you might not get a lot of playing time, but you're going to get a good education and you're going to have a fun time in that college town? Or are you more interested in playing time where maybe you should go to a lower level Division I school, Division II, Division III, or NAIA school where you're going to play a lot and you may even be a star? You have to do what's best for you. And finally, baseball is a little different than some of the other sports, because in baseball, when you're coming out of high school, you're going to have different options if you're very talented. You're going to have that option to go to school, play at a university, or the major league draft will come into play, because you can get drafted into professional baseball right out of high school. And some people use this as a leveraging tool with the schools and professional baseball as far as money goes. Don't think about it too much, but while you're in school, be prepared for what's going to happen when you graduate from high school. I can only recommend two things. Work hard and learn something new every day. And the bottom line is, have fun. I wish you all the best.